guys, my name's Dave and welcome to another Guitar Zero to Hero song tutorial. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play Never Going Back Again by Fleetwood Mac, which is an awesome acoustic tune. Now to start off, we'll need to get our guitar into drop D tuning. So you'll tune your low E down to a D, which should sound similar to that. And then take a capo and place it on the 4th fret of your guitar. Now, if you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to guitar0tohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Or if you want to improve in guitar in general, then sign up to Guitar Zero to Hero Premium, which is my complete step-by-step guitar course. All right, let's jump into the lesson. All right, so there's no denying that this is a difficult song to play. There's tricky chord shapes, there's complicated finger picking going on. However, having said that, there's only 8 bars of music to learn. Once you learn these 8 bars of music, that's all the song is comprised of. We're just repeating parts again and again and looping them. So I'd encourage you to just stick it out, try to learn each section bit by bit, and once you've learned those 8 bars of music, that's the entire song. From that point, all you need to do is practice it slowly with a metronome and work your way up to speed. Playing it up to speed is a tricky thing, and you'll even see Lindsey Buckingham play this at a much slower tempo than the original recording these days. However, it is possible. You just need to practice. Now for our finger picking basics, your thumb will take care of the 6th, 5th and 4th strings, and your index, middle and ring finger will take care of the 3rd, 2nd and 1st strings respectively. Ideally, they shouldn't pluck any other strings other than the ones they've been assigned to. So let's start with the verse riff, and there's 4 bars of music here. So our first chord shape is based off a D triad, looks like this. So index finger will bar across the 2nd frets of the 4th, 3rd and 2nd string. Ring finger will go onto the 4th fret of the 4th string, and middle finger onto the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. For our first little chunk, we're going to hit the open 6th string, and then we're going to pinch the 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings all together. So that's at 8th notes, 1 and. For our second chunk, we're going to hit the open 5th string. We're going to pinch the same 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings, except we're going to start with our index finger barred on this A shape. And then we're going to hammer on our ring and middle finger into place. So 2 E and For the third section, this is where things start getting a little tricky. So we stay in this D shape, we're going to hit the open 6th string, then pluck the 3rd string, and your pinky finger will then go up to the 5th fret of the 1st string. We're going to pinch the 4th and 1st string, and then the 2nd string by itself. These 4 plucks are at 16th notes, so 3 E and And it's a good idea to just repeat these patterns again and again. You really need to get that motion and that muscle memory into your picking hand in order for it to be effective and to stick. So just play it again and again. For this final little section, we're going to stay in this position. We're going to pinch the 5th and 3rd strings together, and then the 1st string, and then pinch the 4th and 2nd, and then end with the 3rd string. And the final section. And again, just repeat it again and again, get in your fingers. Now the 3rd and the 4th sections together. The reason why this is so tricky is because we have these 3 notes descending, which is in groups of 3, but we also have our alternating bass note picking pattern going on, which is more or less in groups of 2 or 4. So where the pinches are occurring are always changing. Now we put that all together in the first bar. I would just really highly encourage you to take this really slow. If you're working on that first bar, just work on that first bar and play that again and again on a loop. Moving on to our second bar. For the first little chunk, we're going to hit the open 6th string, then pinch the 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings again. At this point, we can lift our pinky finger, so just return back to the original position. We're going to pinch that and pull off our ring and middle finger, so it goes to the A shape. Like that. So 1 E and For the second little chunk, we're going to hit the open 5th string, and then our ring and pinky finger will go up to the 5th frets relative to the capo on the 4th and 2nd string, and we're going to pinch them. So 2 E and In the first half, 1 E and 2 E and After that, we return back to our D position. Now for this third chunk, we're going to start by pinching the 6th and 2nd string, and then the 3rd string, and pinky finger now comes onto the 5th fret of the 1st string, pinch the 4th and 1st, and then the 2nd string. So this is more or less the same as the 3rd chunk in the 1st bar, except this time we start with the pinch of the 6th and 2nd string. So 3 and da. Now the final section is more or less the same as the final section in our previous bar, except we're cutting out the final note. So we start with the pinch of the 5th and 3rd strings, the 1st string, and the pinch of the 4th and 2nd. So 4, re, and da. Now the 3rd and 4th sections play together. 3 and da, 4, re, and da. And all together for the 2nd bar. 1 and da, 2 and da, 3 and da, 4 and da. Again, I would encourage you to just loop that bar, play it again and again, just get it into your fingers. So in total for the first line of tab. 1 and da, 2 and da, 3 and da, 4 and da, 1 and da, 2 and da, 3 and da, 4 and da. Next we move on to the 3rd bar, and we have an A13 chord shape like this. This is where things get a little bit stretchy. And this is probably the most difficult bar. This bar gave me the most trouble in terms of just getting it into my fingers, but just be sure to practice it again and again and you'll get there. For this A13, we have our ring and pinky finger up at the 5th frets of the 4th and 2nd string, and our index finger will bar across the 2nd fret from the 3rd string onwards. So the index finger will be responsible for the 3rd and 1st string. Now for this bar, it's really apparent that the 3 fingers here are continuously playing a descending 3-note picking pattern. Like that, again and again. Nothing changes with our thumb though. Our thumb is the timekeeper and it's constantly going 1 E and 2 E and alternating those bass notes at 8th notes. But let's break this up into 4 smaller chunks. So we're gonna start by pinching the 5th and 1st strings, and then the 2nd string, pinching the 4th and 3rd string, and then back up to the 1st string. And altogether, those 4 plucks. Now the 2nd chunk, we're going to pinch the 5th string and 2nd string together, 3rd string, pinch the 4th and 1st string, and then the 2nd string. So the 2nd section, put the 1st and 2nd sections together. Now the 3rd section, we're going to pinch the 5th and 2nd strings together, then the 1st string, then pinch the 4th and 2nd together, and then the 3rd string by itself. So the 3rd section. And then the 4th section of this bar is identical to the 1st section of this bar. So we've already played that. So let's play the 3rd and 4th sections together. This is the bar that will cause the most issues and troubles for most people. Number 1, because of the chord shape, but number 2, because of the complexity of the picking pattern. But really just take it slow. Putting all 4 sections together will sound like this. And one more time. For the final bar, we'll return back to our D shape. So let's start with the first little section. Now, we're gonna pluck 4 notes here. We're gonna start with a pinch of the 6th and 2nd string, then the 3rd string, then the 4th string, and then with your pinky finger, go up to the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and at the same time, you'll basically slide your ring finger up to the 5th fret as well, and we'll pluck that 2nd string. So 4 plucks. And one more time. So that's the first little section. Now, at no point do I lift my ring finger here. It's always applying pressure onto that 4th string. And that allows you to get that subtle slide as you pluck that 2nd string. For the second little chunk, there's just 2 notes. we're going to hit the open 5th string. But at the same time, and this is very subtle, is we're going to slide up our ring and pinky finger up to the 7th fret. So they were on the 5th frets, but we're going to slide them up to the 7th as we hit the open 5th string. Now, if you do this right and you apply pressure into the fretboard the whole time and don't lift these 2 fingers, then you'll get a nice slide from 5th to 7th from the previous plucks. Like that. So we're only plucking the open 5th string there. Then after that, we just move our ring and pinky fingers down to that 5th fret again, pinch both of them together. So that's it for the second chunk. 2, we return to our D position and pinch the 6th and 2nd strings. Hold that out for an 8th note and then go 4th string, and your pinky finger will go up to the 5th fret of the 1st string. And those 2 notes are at 16th notes. 3 and for the final section, we're just going to stay in this position and hit the open 5th string, 3rd, 4th, and 2nd. So 4 notes, 4 and So the 3rd and 4th sections together, 3 and 4 and We put all that together in the 4th bar in total. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and one more time. And those are the 4 bars of the verse. I'm going to play this at a few different speeds now along with the metronome, so try to play along and see how you go. Now, the playthrough at the end of this lesson, I'm going to be playing it at 70 BPM. That's not quite the exact speed of the original recording, which is at 88, but I feel that if I played it at 88, then it's going to be tough for a lot of people who are learning this song to play along and catch up to that sort of speeds. So I'm going to be playing at 75 BPM at the end of this video. Next, let's move to the chorus, which has 4 bars as well, and we'll break each bar up into smaller chunks. So we're going to start up here with a D5. So we're going to have our index finger barred across the 7th fret of the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings, and our pinky finger up at the 10th fret relative to the capo on the 1st string. We're going to hit the open 6th string and then pinch the 4th and 1st string. That's it for the first section. 1 and For the second section, we're going to lift our pinky finger and put your ring finger on the 9th fret of the 1st string. We're going to hit the open 5th string, the 1st string, and then the 4th and 3rd strings. So 4 plucks there. 2 and First 2 sections put together. For this third chunk, we're then going to get our pinky finger and bar it across the 10th frets of the 1st and 2nd string. This is going to be pretty tricky for a lot of players out there, but just give it your best shot. Just use that pinky finger and try to hit those 2 notes. You can alternatively try using your ring and pinky finger there, although I think the pinky is probably the easiest, especially up at these higher frets. For the first section here, we're going to pinch the 6th and 1st strings, and then the 2nd string, and then pinch the 4th and 3rd. and then back up to the first string. So 4 plucks there. And then for the final chunk, we're going to pinch the 5th and 2nd strings, the 3rd string by itself, pinch the 4th and 1st, and then the 2nd string by itself. So the final little chunk, and the 3rd and 4th chunk, and the bar in total. Now the second bar is almost the same with some variations to the first 2 chunks. So we're going to start off by pinching the 6th and 3rd string together, and then we're going to do that pinch of the 4th and 1st. So that's the first little variation. For our next little chunk, we're going to change positions. We're going to have our ring finger there on the 9th fret, but also our middle finger here on the 8th fret of the 2nd string. We're going to start by pinching the 5th and 1st strings, then pluck the 2nd string, then the 4th and 3rd strings. So 4 plucks there. And the first 2 plucks all together. And the 3rd and 4th little sections are identical to the 3rd and 4th sections in that first bar. So we've already learnt that. And that requires that pinky finger on that 10th fret. So that's it for the first line of the chorus, which sounds like this. Again, be sure to take those really slow as you're learning them. Now, for the second line of tab, the first bar is identical to the first bar in the first line of tab, with the exception of 1 note. So we're just leaving out that final note on the 2nd string. So the last 2 sections. And that's all there is to that 3rd bar. For the 4th bar, we play a B minor 7. So it's the same as that D shape that we had, except our index finger goes 1 string higher. So it's hitting that 2nd fret of the 5th string. We're going to hit the bass note and then pinch the 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings together. So 1 E and I'm going to play an F sharp minor 7 shape here. So just have your index finger again barred across the 2nd frets of the 4th, 3rd and 2nd string. Ring finger will come onto the 4th fret of the 6th string. We're going to hit the 6th string, then pluck the 3rd and 2nd, and then end on the 4th string. So 3 plucks there. 2 E and So 1st and 2nd sections. 1 E and 2 E and Then we go back to our B minor 7, pinch the 5th and 2nd strings, hold that out for an 8th note, and then 2 quick plucks here. So 4th string, and then pinky finger comes up to the 5th fret of the 1st string. So 3 E and At this point, you can move your index finger down. So remove it from that 2nd fret and hit the open 2nd string, but keep all your other fingers where they are. It's just that index finger that's lifted. And then we're going to get our index finger into that A position, pinch the 4th and 2nd strings, and hammer your ring and middle finger into that D position. So the final little section, 4 E and but together with the 3rd section, 3 E and 4 E and the final bar in total, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and the second line of tab in total. So that's it for the chorus. Now I'm going to play this at a few different speeds with a metronome as well. Now, those are all the parts that you need to learn for this song. Now, the only other variation that we need to learn is the final outro. But basically all we're doing is we're cutting out a few notes. So for the final bar in this outro, after we've slid up to the 7th fret and we pinch the 5th fret, we then go back to our D shape and strum all the way from the 6th to the 2nd string. And those are all the parts for this song that you need to learn. Again, it's really quite tricky and taxing on both the picking hand and the fretting hand. There's a lot going on. However, there's not a lot to learn. So this is one of those songs where you're just gonna take it one chunk at a time. As the saying goes, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that's how I approach this song. So now I'll be doing a full playthrough of the song and have a vocal track on top for some context. A big thanks to my friend Eric for lending his awesome vocals to this playthrough. Feel free to play this back as many times as you'd like to practice play along to and see how you go. Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this lesson, then I know you'll absolutely love these other lessons too. So hit the link here, or if you want to grab a copy of my free guitar ebook, then head over to guitar0tohero.com or click the link here. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.